Hi everyone, this is Veronica and today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is effect on bills when Parliament adjourns sine die. So what does this mean? Adjourn sine die means when the Legislative Assembly adjourns for indefinite period. For example, Lok Sabha Assembly, this Legislative Assembly adjourns without appointing a day on which to appear or assemble again. That is known as adjournment, that is adjourn sine die. So we'll discuss in detail what happens to the bills after that. For my video updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. This is the channel StudyIQ. If you're preparing for any government exam, our pen drive and tablet courses are also available. For additional information, you can call on these numbers or you can visit our website too. So the PDF of this lecture will also be available here. So now what is the relevance of this topic from exam point of view? So if I talk from the UPSC perspective, then in your mains paper 2, this topic will be covered under these headings, and at objective level for other government exams and UPSC prelims, lapse of any bill in Parliament is very important. What are the exceptions that you should know? And at subjective level, this is the basic law making procedures in India about which you should have an idea. So why it is in news? Because the final session as the 16th Lok Sabha was going on and finally it has adjourned sine die, and 46 bills and including very important bills. One of them is Citizenship Amendment Bill and other is banning triple talaq. So a lot of protest on such bills we have seen. Even transgender bill is one of them which have lapsed, which are set to lapse on 3rd June when the term of present Lok Sabha ends. So you know that elections will be held soon in our country and the new Lok Sabha will be there. Therefore these bills have lapsed, so we'll discuss in detail about them. Now, when does a bill lapse in Indian Parliament? So it totally depends upon the pending legislation and where it originated, like whether it originated in Lok Sabha or it originated in Rajya Sabha. So there are certain cases and certain exceptions also where bill lapses on dissolution of assembly, and there are certain criteria where the bill does not lapse. So we'll discuss that. So firstly we'll discuss about the bills which originate in Lok Sabha. So there are two stances here. If any bill that originated in Lok Sabha but it could not be passed, so it lapsed. Right, I repeat again. So if there is any bill that has been originated, that was introduced in Lok Sabha but it could not be passed by Lok Sabha, so it lapses. Next thing is, if a bill originated and passed by Lok Sabha, so finally a bill originated and it got passed by Lok Sabha, but it is pending in Rajya Sabha, it also lapses. So these are two conditions for the bills originating in Lok Sabha. Now the bills originating in Rajya Sabha, what happens to them? So first of all, you should know that the constitution also gives this member of parliaments, MPs in Rajya Sabha, the power to introduce a bill. So therefore a bill that has originated in Rajya Sabha and was passed by it but it remains pending in Lok Sabha, it also lapses. This is one thing. Next is a bill that is originated in Rajya Sabha and returned to the House by Lok Sabha with certain amendments, that Lok Sabha has suggested some changes and amendments in it, and it is still pending in Rajya Sabha on the date of dissolution of Lok Sabha, it also lapses. Right? So these are the two conditions for Rajya Sabha. Now our question is, these are the exceptions when a particular bill does not lapse. So not all bills which haven't yet become a law because they are not passed by Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, or obviously both, for to become a law it has to be passed from both the houses. So there are certain conditions where they do not lapse. So there's a bill, so here we'll start the exceptions. A bill which is pending in Rajya Sabha but not passed by Lok Sabha, so it is pending in Rajya Sabha, maybe the discussion is going on, it has been introduced but it is still going on in Rajya Sabha, but it has not been passed by Lok Sabha, so it does not lapse because Rajya Sabha won't dissolve, right? So only Lok Sabha there's a dissolution of Lok Sabha only, so such a bill does not lapse. Now there are certain other conditions also. Look at this one. So the bill passed by both the houses. So both the houses means Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. There is a certain bill which has been passed by both the houses, but the president is yet to give his discretion, his response, his assent for the pending bill. So such kind of bill does not lapse, right? Now see the third one. So here there is a bill which is passed again by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but president has certain powers. He can give his assent, he can even do a pocket veto, so he has certain veto powers. So there is a bill which has been passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and it is returned by the President of India for reconsideration. So President has asked Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to look again into the matter, look again into the bill. So such a bill also does not lapse because it has been passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now see, there are some pending bills and all pending assurances that are to be examined by the committees. So some bills are transferred to the committees for re-evaluation to study on a particular bill. So these assurances also does not lapse on the dissolution of Lok Sabha. These are few exceptions, and then there comes exceptions for a joint sitting also. So what happens in a joint sitting case? So apart from the these exceptions that we just talked about, there's another situation when bill does not automatically lapse with the end of final parliament session, is if the president calls for a joint sitting, that is known as vote on bill. Okay. So which articles tells us for the joint sitting? It is Article 108. You should remember this. So Article 108 of the Constitution, it states that the president may, unless the bill has elapsed by the reason of dissolution of the Lok Sabha, he summons both houses to meet in a joint sitting for the purpose of deliberating and voting on the bill. Now see, if at the joint sitting of two houses, the bill with such amendments, changes which have been proposed, if any, is passed by majority of total number of members of both houses. So mind here, present and voting. Okay. So I repeat again, so if there is such a bill in the joint sitting and is passed by majority of total number of members of both houses present and voting, it shall be deemed to have passed by both the houses in that case. And however, there is no provision of joint sittings on money bill and amendment bill. You should remember these are two exceptions. There is no joint sitting for money bills and amendment bills proposed, right? Now here the question is, what happens to the bill that have lapsed? So if in 16th Lok Sabha there are certain bills which have lapsed, so what will happen to them in 16th Lok Sabha? So see, what will happen if such bills have lapsed by virtue of one or more conditions that I have already explained you in the lecture. So they have to be reintroduced into the new Lok Sabha. So the new government has to reintroduce. So now it totally depends upon the new government if they feel like to introduce the bills again or not. That totally depends upon the new government. And then there's an alternative for promulgation of an ordinance, and Article 123 is responsible for ordinance. So see what happens in ordinance. The lapse of a bill in parliament still does not prevent the incumbent government from issuing an ordinance, that is an executive order, to bring forth the legislation it intended to through the lapsed bill. So according to the constitution, the government of the day, they can bring the ordinance if the parliament is not in session, and if even the president, here the president is important, the president is convinced for the urgency of the matter that it can't wait till the house comes in session again. So here a constitution does not explicitly ban the government nearing the end of its term from doing so. Since about ordinance, you should know that the lifespan of this executive order known as ordinance is 6 months. Okay. So this is the lifespan of an ordinance. So lifespan is either 6 months or till the parliament meets in the next session, whichever is earlier in this case, in 17th for the 17th Lok Sabha. So any ordinance that is promulgated by the current government is likely to outlive its tenure almost because next Lok Sabha will be quite late. So here are certain noteworthy bills that have lapsed in the current Lok Sabha, and I have made videos on almost all of them. I don't think I have made on Aadhaar, but rest 6 I have made. You can watch separate videos. What is Citizenship Amendment Bill? This is Triple Talaq, Muslim Women Protection Rights on Marriage Bill, Transgender Persons Bill, Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill, Surrogacy Regulation Bill, DNA Technology Use and Application Regulation Bill. So I have made videos on these except Aadhaar 1. I have made videos on all these 6. So these were the important bills which have lapsed in 16th Lok Sabha, and there are a lot of protests we have seen for the Citizenship Amendment Bill, for the Transgender Bill, for the Muslim Protection Triple Talaq Bill, right? This is known as Triple Talaq Bill also, right? So this is all about today's lecture. If you have any confusion, you can contact me, and the PDF will be uploaded on our website. Thank you.